In recent weeks, the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine has taken yet another dramatic turn, and one of the most striking incidents was the large-scale drone strike on Moscow's financial district, often referred to as Moscow City. Reports indicate that nearly 100 Ukrainian drones were launched in waves, targeting not only symbolic structures but also some of the most expensive skyscrapers in Russia, including towers valued at billions of dollars. The fact that these drones were able to penetrate Russian air defenses and reach the heart of Moscow itself is an extraordinary development that carries both military and psychological weight. When examining this event, it's important to understand why Moscow City is such a high-profile target. This cluster of modern skyscrapers, offices, luxury apartments, and international business hubs represents the vision of a modern Russia that Vladimir Putin has tried to showcase to the world. It's a place meant to symbolize wealth, progress, and stability. By striking here, Ukraine is not simply trying to cause physical damage, but also to send a message. No matter how far from the front lines, no place in Russia is completely safe. The psychological effect of such an attack is immense, not only for the Russian government but also for the ordinary citizens living and working in Moscow. The attack also highlights how the nature of modern warfare has changed. Traditional battles with tanks and artillery still happen every day on the front lines, but drones have transformed the conflict into something far more unpredictable. Small, relatively cheap drones loaded with explosives can achieve results that once required missiles or fighter jets. They can bypass conventional defenses, strike symbolic targets, and instill fear with far fewer resources. In this particular strike, the number of drones reportedly used is astonishing, almost 100. Showing that Ukraine has not only increased its drone production but also mastered the art of coordinating large swarms. This is not a small skirmish, it is a demonstration of growing technological capability. For Russia, the damage goes far beyond broken glass and scorched buildings. Economically, Moscow City is home to vital offices, banks, and business networks. Disruption here damages investor confidence and undermines the idea that Moscow is untouchable. Politically, the Kremlin has always promised to protect its capital at all costs, and every successful strike exposes weaknesses in its vast air defense network. Socially, Russian citizens who may have felt the war was distant are now experiencing it in their own backyard. Seeing drones fall from the sky and hearing explosions near some of the most secure areas in the country creates anxiety and frustration that can slowly erode public support for the government. From Ukraine's perspective, this was a highly calculated move. Kyiv knows it cannot match Russia plane for plane or missile for missile, but asymmetric tactics like drone swarms give it a way to level the playing field. Each successful strike not only damages Russia physically but also boosts Ukrainian morale and demonstrates to allies that their support is being used effectively. It also keeps international attention on the conflict, reminding the world that Ukraine remains determined to resist and can still hit back in ways that surprise Moscow. However, such attacks are not without risks. By striking deep inside Russian territory, Ukraine risks provoking harsher retaliations. Russia has already responded to past drone strikes with escalated missile barrages against Ukrainian cities, targeting civilian infrastructure in attempts to break morale. There is also the danger of international perception. While Ukraine enjoys widespread sympathy and support, some allies may worry that these strikes could push the conflict into a wider regional confrontation. Balancing these factors is a constant challenge for Kyiv's leadership. What makes this incident particularly important is not only the physical impact but also the symbolism. War is as much about perception as it is about territory. When citizens of Moscow watch flames rise from billion-dollar towers, they are confronted with a reality the Kremlin tries to deny, that Russia is not immune to the consequences of the war it started. For Ukrainians, images of the strike circulating online serve as proof of resilience and technological ingenuity, reinforcing the belief that they can stand against a much larger adversary. Looking ahead, the likelihood of similar operations is high. Drone warfare is only becoming more sophisticated, and Ukraine has shown it is willing to target infrastructure far beyond the front line. Russia will be forced to invest even more heavily in air defenses, spreading them thinner across its vast territory, which may ironically create vulnerabilities elsewhere. Meanwhile, Moscow City, once a shining beacon of Russian progress, has become a symbol of exposure, a reminder that no amount of wealth or prestige can shield a country from the realities of war. This event marks a new phase in the conflict, one where drones are not just supporting the battlefield but actively shaping the strategic and psychological landscape of the war. The strike on Moscow's towers is more than a headline, it's a turning point that reveals the evolving nature of modern warfare and the lengths Ukraine is willing to go to ensure that Russia feels the consequences of its invasion.